I've already stated in my previous video that one of the first things you need to do before digging deeper into all of this is figure out what your situation is. And one of the elements is whether or not you're simply going through a rough patch or whether or not you're closing and it's over, or where in between you might be. Let's think about a tough situation and you expect to come out the other side and be, if not as good as before, at least okay, still in the game. Now the question is, what are your problems? I'm not in this interview or this tape going to deal with the subject of managing debt. That'll be for other ones. But you have problems of employees, you have problems of leases, utilities, you have bills to pay, the money's not coming in, and you may or may not have the personal savings to weather the storm, but whether you do or you don't really want to just be bleeding all that cash during this difficult time. But on the other hand, you do not want to burn any bridges because you plan to be around going into the future. For such businesses, I would make a number of suggestions. The first is there are all kinds of benefits under the CARES Act, under the stimulus bill, and under the previous stimulus bills to help businesses in these situations. By the time you see this, it's probably a little bit too late for Paycheck Protection Program loans. I was never really in that business. Although I did help a few clients fill in their applications, but they were already clients. But there are other loans from the SBA. They're not as generous, so they're more in the nature of low interest as opposed to something that's forgivable, but may help you get over the hump. There are all kinds of ways now to furlough workers, really without hurting them. In fact, for folks making less than $64,000 a year, they'd actually be getting a raise by being furloughed. In fact, if they're still working a little bit of part-time, they're getting an even bigger raise. Massachusetts is a work share state, so that you can cut your employees' hours up to 60%, and the state unemployment system will pay 50% of the hours cut. They'll get the $600 weekly benefit from the federal government, and you just pay for what you use. So there are a lot of ways under the new law to manage your payroll so that you can still keep your people fed, keep them able to pay their rent, pay their mortgages, so they don't hate you, and still keep them loyal. For example, the CARES Act provides for furloughing as opposed to laying off. In a furlough, you keep paying their health insurance, and you get to call them back when it's when you're ready. So there are a host of options there that to explore, and it really again depends now on your more specific situation and your relationship, sometimes with individual employees, because you don't have to treat every employee the same in these situations. There's also your relationship, for example, with your landlord. Whatever difficulties you're going through, you need to be transparent and open there. I will tell you because I represent landlords, that they are very hostile when a tenant just simply stops paying and doesn't call them. If they get a sense that a tenant is trying to take advantage of this crisis and of some of the eviction avoidance things, you have a very poisonous relationship. On the other hand, you call your landlord, you lay out what's going on, kind of a thing, make some arrangement with the landlord. You're probably in a better place if you're looking to come out in the future. So, as I say, there are a number of different situations and a number of different ways to deal with them. And the key is to figure out yours and what is the best path for you. I look forward to making other tapes to discuss other ways of dealing with these problems. Until then, I'd like for you to stay safe and stay strong, and I look forward to seeing you soon.